PTFE tape on there, get your spanners and just tighten it up. Always use a spanner on it. You know why you use a spanner on it? Because only a spanner won't use a spanner. You like that? Only a spanner won't use a spanner. I could be on comedy club. Reason why you always use a spanner on that, because even though them screws are screwed into them tiles, what happens is when you start tightening this and you go out for leather, you'll end up, that'll strain that tile and it'll split it. So if you don't want to use one, don't use one, but chances are you'll split it. And it might not look split until water coming through it. Do you know what I mean? And by then, it's too late. Like so, nice and tight. Now, what I do is squash the silicone in all the gaps over the screws, everywhere, every nut and cranny. Because if you don't, believe me, water will find its way. Then what we do, screw that up. What you should do is, you should put the tap on first, then test it, make sure they're not leaking. But because I've been doing this for 20 odd years, I'm very confident in my work, and I don't need to test it because I know it's not going to leak. And one thing I don't do is panic. I never panic about water. It's only a bit of water, just keep your dust down. You know what I mean? From time to time you will always get a leak. It's how you deal with that leak. Let's change the handles. Let's change the handles on that. Get these washers out. Right, so before I put the tap on, clearly change the angles on that. Never put a pair of grips on that by itself. Get tissue over it. It's tight, very, very tight. Don't want to grip it too tight, otherwise you mark it. That's it. Take that off. Take the owner out. Keep the screw. Hot always to the left side. Cold always to the right side. They're different caps, and they're better because you can use your fingers to untake them. Them ones, when they're tightening them on too tight, it's no good. So you have to mark it to get it on. Let me see. Now, that is an issue. They clearly do not fit. So all you have to do with them, pull that back in, like so. Pull that back in that package. Pull that back on there like that. That's too big to fit in there. Can't make miracles. Put that back in there. I tape this back up with clear sellotape, like it's never been out. Like it's never been out. Put that back in the box. You'll have to send that back. Same as that one. Send that back and either get the smaller spindle or stick with this. So we'll put that back in. Make sure that's back on. And I put this back on, I just do it hand tight. So we can take it back off. But use grips. See how there's no marks on there because you just used a bit of tissue around it. If you would have put your grips on it, you would have marked it. Washer in there. Make sure you push them down, otherwise you struggle screwing it on. And then, if we've got it right, it should go straight on. Never ever use a pair of grips on there. Make sure there's no silicone on them. Nice and gentle because you don't want to mark the chrome. That's it. Nice and gentle because you don't want to chrome. And there you go, one tap, solid. Bish bash bosh, put bits on. We'll put bits on after. The bath's going to have to go in there, like I said, because we don't want it any higher. We wouldn't have got the bracket on there properly and it wouldn't have been stable. And there we go, nice tap. Done. This is where we got to Friday. Freestanding bathing, sinking, toileting. Now see that? Underneath there, we've got a shower there, that's ready to go in. I'm going to do all this today. This is Monday, 6 days this job took us. It's been a nightmare because of this floor. Absolute nightmare. But never mind, we're on it. So, like that, we want to make it look pretty. The 15mm cap doesn't fit. So this is a 22mm cap. This will fit because of the nut. It's very, very hard, so it's very tricky to get in there, yeah. Get it on there like that. Then all we need to do is we need to bend it over and on. I'll just stop this, it might take me a minute. And there we go. Nice shiny cap on. Beautiful. It's a bit tricky, but shave the inside out or you clip it on. Normally it won't matter because that part, you'd have a bit more length on it for that to clip on. But that's the reason why. Just makes it a nice tidy job. And then for around the waist there, I've got another plan. Another plan for that later, which I'll show you later after we finish. After we give it a right good clean, we're going to get this shower on now. So the prep for this shower, oh yeah, getting too old. Prep for this shower. Where's my goals? Before you start anything, clean all this gear off what Tyler's left on it. Do you know what I mean? Make sure it's right clean. Because with these, when them back plates go on there, you want it sitting flat. Make sure there's no on the tile. Because once them back plates go on, if they're not sitting flat, you're going to see like a lip. If you see the lip, it's no good. No point doing it as neat as this, than having a lip. Same with there. I think Tyler's just do it to wind you up. You know what I mean? That's why we put silicone on the walls, to wind them up. Swings and roundabouts. I've got my template fits back flat. I've screwed this in, and Just going to mark it. All I've done is pull it thingy out of the dry wipe. Now because I've done this because I've fixed it in solid, I don't really need to drill it, but we'll put it in. For the sake of what it is, we'll put it in. So just unbolt it, then I'm going to drill it, and most probably I'll only get one hole in there. Other one's too tight. I'm not going to get past that tile. So I'll get an hole in there, then I'll chamfer that little bit off there so we can go through. Porcelain tiles. No match for me, porcelain tile. You know why it's a no match for me? Because, whoa, very slippery this tray. Nearly broke my neck. I use my bish bash bosh bit. It's always harder drilling above you. So what you want to do is make sure you always use a new bit, because these are porcelain tiles, they're the hardest tile to drill known to man. So always use a new bit. And just go gentle. Just gentle. That's all we need to do. Get my cup of coffee to cool it down. Comes in handy, cold coffee. Because it's so high up, it's a lot harder drilling it. But you don't want to force it because we're right on the tip. These bits get red hot. You want to keep it wet when you're doing it so high, otherwise you're going to have no chance. I'll show you the difference of drilling when we come to the bottom one. Nearly through. Now this is where it's vital, because we're drilling right on the edge of the tile. You don't want to force it, otherwise you'll snap it. See that? Nice and gentle. Keep cooling it down. Do with something to stand on really, but I won't risk putting anything in the tray. And you always make sure you cool this down, because if you don't, it falls off, it goes in the tray, burns it. We're nearly through. There we go, we're through. See what I mean? It's chipped it on that side there. But it doesn't really matter because we're going through the plug there. It's very hard to drill here where it's been cut because see that? It's cut there and it's cut there, cut there, cut there. It's too close really for drilling. But we've had a go. Now we'll get a plug in there. There, you've got no chance of drilling that. No chance whatsoever. The only thing what you could do with that is drill it on a sideways slant like that. All we're doing is drilling it enough to get a plug in there. A plug in there with a screw going through it, because this is why it's important to make sure that this brass bracket is solid. That brass bracket is screwed to the wall solid. If you watch previous at the beginning, I showed how I fix this solid to the wall, because if you don't and you can't get proper fixings into this top head, it's going to wobble. In my case, that's solid. Once I bolt this in, it's not going to go nowhere. I know it's not going to go nowhere. So these holes here, once I've filled it and siliconed it, push my screw in, screw the screws in. The screws aren't really doing all, but the bracket's holding it. And that's what you need. You'll still be able to swing on it, it's not going to come off. And when we're putting this tape on, don't forget this camera's in reverse, okay? You want to be wrapping it round. So, see that? When you screw it in, it's tightening it. If you wrapped it round the other way, it would undo it. So it'd be pointless. Now this, remember, you don't want this too tight. You don't want tons on it, it's already tight into that fitting. You don't want loads on it. Just a nice thread to stop the water from coming through. You should seal it. See how nice threaded that is? That's about right. You could be wrong, but chances are you're not. Confidence. Pull it nice and tight. Right, and then make sure nothing's stuck in that hole. So if you have something rattling, it's annoying. It's a bit make sure there's no in it. It's very annoying. Not like when your lass rattles in your ear. Can't get rid of it. It's like that. Make sure you silicone it. Don't silicone in the hole. I've run out of silicone. Stop a minute.